All right, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Nerds Drink Whiskey. We are celebrating all of you independent writers. There's nothing more frustrating, nothing more challenging than trying to write a novel or even a graphic novel or whatever. Just writing can sometimes be one of the most frustrating, challenging things a person can do. And that's why so many really good, legendary, iconic writers end up to be alcoholics.
So I'm kind of a writer.
But with that in mind, for all you writers, there is seems like there's an Irish whiskey to celebrate, made for celebrating the NaNoWriMo warriors out there, called Writer's Tears.
Wait, you mean it's not made out of?
The actual Writer's Tears? Yeah. It might be. We're not sure. This is the 80 proof. Speaking of which, this is the 80 proof, so it might be watered down. We'll see if it's a little salty. But then next week, we're going to be doing the cask strength version of this. So whereas this one is about $70, the cask strength that we're going to be reviewing next week is $150. So it's a little more expensive, but yeah. So
you mean that the cask strength very well could be like darn near pure Writer's Tears, right?
Well, maybe that's the one that isn't watered down with Writer's Tears.
That's what,
actual Writer's Tears. I don't know. Yeah,
I'm hoping it's actually got Writer's Tears in it, because then maybe I can start actually writing something again.
Yeah. So it's the one that you drink with your Writer's Tears. So yeah.
There you go.
But anyways. I think it's time that we sample some Writer's Tears and salute all of you brave writers out there for the NaNoWriMo. And we're going to test this out. So while we take a drink, take 2 slow sips in silence. Dark Helmet, do your thing.
Ludicrous speed!
Why don't we start with our special guest? For those of you who didn't watch our last week's episode, this is a friend of me and Jeremy's since 7th grade. And he's the one that inspired this whole show to exist.
Sorry.
It's all his fault. And a friend of ours for decades. But this is Robert Savoie. And Robert, what do you think of Writer's Tears, the 70 proof, the 80 proof version?
Initial flavor, I like the smell. Initial flavor was fine. I wasn't a great fan of the afterwards. It didn't. The last week's
the finish.
The finish, yeah.
Okay.
Last week's the finish kind of just stopped. This one I just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So it was fine, but it wasn't. If I spent 70, I'd been a little upset.
Yeah.
So it's fine, but it's not my choice.
Yeah. Gabe, what's your thoughts?
Honestly, I thought it, at first taste, right when it hit the tongue, it felt almost a little diminished to me. Now, maybe that was because of the fact that we had been drinking bourbons before,
yep.
But. I mean, it was a little light, but then it kind of crept in a little bit. It wasn't the greatest to me, at least in the 80, as far as the flavor goes and the mouthfeel. It was a little light on that. I wasn't really that impressed. The finish was okay. I would have liked it to last a little longer myself, but it wasn't bad for what it was, although I agree. I'd be a little upset if I would have paid $70 for this.
Yep. Jeff?
I think it's weird.
Weird.
That is the word I should have used.
Yeah. It's like, I like Irish. Like, there's most of my favorite whiskeys are Irish. And this one is just weird.
Yeah.
It's like, I wouldn't call it flavors I wouldn't expect, but it doesn't.
Where's this one still?
In Ireland.
Yeah.
It's
Ireland.
Walsh Whiskey Distillery.
Carlow, Ireland. Yeah, it's just a strange whiskey.
I gotta say, I think this would be a I've been drinking a lot of Irish whiskeys lately, and there's a lot better Irish out there, and I gotta say this is probably about I wouldn't have a problem with spending about $30 with it for this, but $70 is a little much. The finish was just a little bit too. There just wasn't enough to the finish. The initial taste, I didn't really have. There was not as much depth as I hoped for. The mouthfeel was okay. It was pleasant. There's nothing. So it's just another one of those where there's nothing bad about it, but there's definitely nothing exceptional about it. Again, I'd say a $30 whiskey as opposed to a $70, which is what I paid. So that was my thoughts. Jeremy.
As a newbie to Irish whiskeys, I'm not experienced enough with them. I enjoyed the initial taste, the middle of the tongue flavor. But what I found interesting was after the roll back on your tongue, about 3 to 4 seconds later, you get it was like almost nothing. Then about 3 to 4 seconds later, you get this flavor, and I can't describe the flavor because I've never sensation that type of flavor before, and I personally found it enjoyable. I wouldn't personally spend $70 on a bottle. $30 maybe, and it seems to be our trend with these last few we've been tasting. Maybe possibly for newbies or introduction. To start something kind of mild. It's a very mild.
It's a very mild, very subtle whiskey.
Yes.
It's So it's. I think we're all in agreement that this is a decent $30 whiskey. $70 is a little much. There's definitely better Irish out there for a lot cheaper even. And I don't know. We'll see how next week goes, but I think you guys should, you writers out there, you NaNoWriMo warriors.
An entire room full of writers.
There's better stuff out there, but this has become kind of a part of the ritual of writing, and the ritual of doing NaNoWriMo is to buy a thing of Writer's Tears. But if you've got something that you've independently published, we are encouraging you in the comments to post a link to it, and let us take a look at what you've independently published, whether it's a graphic novel or a traditional novel. Post a link in the comments and let us see it. Feel free to promote your writings during our NaNoWriMo celebration. Anybody got any closing comments?
Please like, comment, and subscribe for more.
Click the link below.
Okay. And you got a closing story?
Closing story about a struggling writer in Hollywood. I was watching an interview with Kevin Costner, and he was talking about how he had this friend that he helped, let him move into his house, and the guy was struggling writing, and eventually he goes like, you got to leave. The guy kept asking him over and over again, well, have you read it? Have you read it? Have you read it? And he's like, no, I haven't read it. And he finally had the guy move out, and the guy contacted him a few months later and goes, have you read it? He goes, I don't even like you anymore. Why would I read it? And he said one night he was sitting down and he picked it up and read it, and he said it was the most amazing thing he ever read. And that is how Dances with Wolves the movie was made. The guy wrote Dances with Wolves, and Kevin Costner said, I'll do everything in my power to turn this into a movie. So there is hope out there for you struggling writers.
Writers get almost no respect. Almost none.
Yep.
Never give up.
So all you struggling writers out there, we salute you this month, and hopefully you don't have too many actual Writer's Tears. See you next week. We're going to review the cask strength version of this, and keep writing. No matter what you do, no matter what happens, keep writing. See you next week.